What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out our channel, Honey Hole Angling, and today we have our last video in the Kevin Hutchison fly tying series, and we're going to be tying a Cypert Minnow. This fly is a great bass fly. It's a bait fish imitation. I actually fish it a lot for white bass. When the white bass run comes around, it's really effective. It's an easy tie, and you can't really go wrong with having it in this box. So guys, enjoy this video. If you guys want to fish with Kevin, his information's down below, and enjoy, guys.
All right, we're gonna show you how to tie the Cypert Minnow in this DVD. So let's go ahead and open up our kit and see what we get inside. First off, we have the DVD, which you've already found. Next, we have some Ultra Chenille. This comes under a lot of different names. You can use regular chenille, or you can use Ultra Chenille, or you can use material called vernille. Vernille and Ultra Chenille are basically the same thing. They're just different. It's almost like a brand name. And like I said, you can use standard chenille. We're going to tie a size 6 today, so we're going to use the medium size, and we're going to use the chartreuse color. Then you'll need some Mylar tubing, which is in your kit, and this is the pearl, the medium-sized Mylar tubing in pearl. Mylar tubing comes in a lot of different colors. Sometimes you can find it at fabric stores. Most of the time you have to go to a fly tying shop to find it. It does come in black, silver, gold, pearl, a few other colors I've seen, red, which is also pretty interesting, but we're going to stick with pearl today. Then you're going to have some bead chain eyes, enough to do 24, and then you're going to have your hooks, and again, these are going to be a 3X long straight shanked hook. You can use a TMCO or a Mustad. The Mustad is a 9672. We give you TMCOs for this, and again, we're going to tie a size 6. So very few materials, an easy fly to tie, very effective. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started with the Cypert Minnow. First thing we're going to do is place our hook in the vise. Again, we're using a size 6 3X long hook, straight shanked. First thing we're going to do is lay down a thread base from the front of the hook all the way back to the tie-in point. And this allows us to put a few items on here without them slipping around. I always like to lay thread bases down when I can, especially on wet flies. It doesn't really matter on weight. Trim that tag end off, and again, we tie all the way back to the tie-in point, and that tie-in point is the point between the barb and the point of the hook right here, halfway in between there. And that's important on this fly because we're going to put 2 or 3 layers of stuff on, and it does make it a little bit complicated to remember where you ended if you don't have a landmark like that. So we've got our thread base on. We're going to go forward with some real loose wraps and up to the front, and we're going to go ahead and put our eyes on. You're going to take the bead chains you have in your kit and just use a pair of little needle nose pliers that can be inexpensive little nippers, and we're going to cut off 2 of the eyes just like that. So we end up with 2. We're going to take those and we're going to hold them at an angle with the connecting wire over the hook shank, and we're going to go 10 in one direction. Okay, now you notice that they're crooked, and that's okay. They should be crooked. So we've gone in this direction now. Next we're going to go in this direction, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull the eyes straight, hold them with our finger, and then go 10 this way. Now, if we've pulled the same tension both ways, the eyes will be nice and straight like they are. Now, the last step in this process is to take your thread and wrap around the base of the wraps that you just created 5 times. And pull straight, and then we'll do 5 more wraps. Now I'm switching hands here with my bobbin just for demonstration purposes. Normally my bobbin would be held in my right hand, but just for the sake of you guys watching this, I'm switching right to left. Okay, so now we have our eyes tied on. They're nice and solid. And check your eyes. They really need to be tight on here. If you can't get them tied down, then you want to go ahead and you want to make sure that you put a little bit of glue on them and let them dry. Now the next step is real quick. We're going to take our thread back to the tie-in point. We're going to take our vernille or chenille or ultra chenille, whatever we're using. We're going to take a little piece of this off. Start with a piece about 10 to 12 inches long. We're going to take our fingers and we're going to peel away some of that fuzz so that we have just those two master threads, those two little white threads. We're going to tie those down, and by doing that we don't create a big bulk at the end of this fly. We're going to get those tied in nice and straight, nice and tight, back to the tie-in point, and they should be hanging off the back of the hook like that. Okay, our next step is going to be to take this ultra chenille and loop it underneath the eye on the far side, pull it back over, tie it down 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And we went under and over there, so we want to go over and under here. And what that does is creates a nice, even body. And then we're going to go ahead and hold this up and clip it off. And now we have our nice body. Now we're ready to work with our Mylar tubing. Our last step in this fly is to put the little Mylar tubing back on them. So in your kit you have some Mylar tubing, and this is the medium size. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to estimate how much we need here. It's real simple. You just simply bend it and hold it up next to the fly, and you should have about a 1/2 inch extending behind the fly, and then go ahead and cut it. And you notice I'm cutting deep into my scissors. I don't like to use the tips to cut this stuff because it is a little corrosive, a little abrasive on your scissors. So cut down deeper in the throat of the scissors. Now your Mylar tubing, when you get it, it has a little cotton core to it, and you want to get rid of that. So simply weasel your little fingernails in there and pull that cotton core out. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of. There you go. And you can set this aside. It's basically trash. If you have like oil lamps at home, you can use them on those. That's exactly what the wicks are made out of, so they're kind of useful for that. So we're going to take our piece of Mylar tubing and we're simply going to fold it in half, and we're going to pinch it nice and tight, and that creates a little V. The V is important because at the apex of the V here, we're going to take this and we're going to wiggle it until the eye of the hook pokes through it. So we've actually poked the eye of the hook through the middle of the Mylar tubing. We're going to hold the top down tight, but not crazy tight, and we're going to put 3 wraps on that, and we're going to slide this underneath the bottom, and we're going to put 3 wraps on that. Okay, so we've got it tied in on the top and on the bottom. Now we have to finish the fly off, and since you can't use your whip finisher on this because it won't really reach back there unless you have a long reach whip finisher, and you can't use your 1/2 hitch tool because this is made just a 1/2 hitch at the front, you're going to have to use your fingers. So you're going to take 2 fingers, you're going to push down, twist, and then you're going to hold it back. And that's a 1/2 hitch. Now this knot's notoriously weak, so you want to make sure that you put a few of them on there. Normally what I do is I'll put at least 4, figuring that one of them's going to fail. Tighten them up, and as luck would have it, broke my thread off, but we're okay. We got 4 good ones on there, so we're in good shape. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take the fly out of the vise. We're going to cut our tail to length. Now you can cut your tail any length you want. I just like to have it a little bit shorter so I don't get short strikes. Then I'm going to take my scissors or a bodkin or any other implement you have, and you're simply going to fray the tail. And there you have a beautiful Cypert Minnow in chartreuse and pearl, ready to catch fish. Can be tied in almost any size you need, ready to go.
Thank y'all so much for watching the video. We really appreciate it. We're growing really fast, and we thank you for that. If you guys want any hats or a fly tying kit that helps us out, Kevin makes these for us, and we sell them on our website. So you guys can check them out at honeyholeangling.com. Subscribe to our channel, like, comment down below, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next one.